How can I eat my pizza without my drink? Welcome to the perspective.
Indeed. My name is Matthew Lundeen, and I'm joined here by Michael Murgia.
Oh, so you're just going to introduce me like that?
Sorry, I'm too used to what we normally do. I'm joined here by...
Oh, he pointed to me. Michael Murgia.
And...
Man who needs no introduction.
Frank.
Frank, yes. Frank's back.
Frank's back.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're joined here by Michael Murgia and Frank Pontrelli. This week's episode, well, we've got... Oh, yeah, we're saving it for the end, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I guess what we're talking about first, before we get to our second ever episode of Culture Corner, is...
We're like whispering, like we're on like some kind of fucking smooth jazz.
You really gotta bring up the energy here, man.
I know, I was trying to do like nighttime radio.
He's trying to put me to sleep.
Yeah. It's
very counterintuitive if you think about it for nighttime radio.
They want to put people to sleep while they're driving.
They don't want people crashing.
Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Netflix,
what other enjoyment do you have
besides dying
radio?
In my car?
Besides knowing that you caused a car accident.
Yep.
So Netflix is cool, huh?
It's pretty wild.
Nah, that's all right.
Kind of losing all their IPs though to fucking different streaming services.
Companies.
Yeah,
basically cable 2.0.
Yeah, essentially. Although I don't care about Paramount at all, or any or NBC.
But SpongeBob.
Yeah, they got new competition now with Paramount Plus.
Do they? Do they?
What's even on there besides SpongeBob?
So here's it. I hate Paramount Plus because I've been waiting for ages for Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to come to Netflix because it's available on Netflix in like every other country.
VPN.
I just
VPN.
I had a VPN when I went to Japan, but I stopped using it after I got back from Japan because I was only really using the VPN to get access to all the things that I didn't have access to when I was in Japan. And upon returning, I was like, yeah, VPN can give me like some of the cool stuff that's like not available in my country yet, and can give me increased security. I guess that's why ExpressVPN is so like poggers or some shit. But like, I just kind of like, I'm just not interested.
But you can do Rick and Morty on Netflix.
I only used Polish Netflix to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Netflix because they had it on there.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
I wonder if there's a country that still has It's Always Sunny on Netflix.
Maybe.
Probably.
They had that on Netflix, and then as soon as I was interested in watching It's Always Sunny, they took it off of Netflix.
What is it on now?
I think just like on FX's like service or whatever.
Well, it's on Hulu
they have a service?
now.
Oh, is it on Hulu?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Hey, I paid for that.
Yeah, you do. I can watch it.
I can watch it on
with ads, but you can watch it.
Nah.
Hulu.
Yeah,
do you want...
ads? What is this?
Hey. Do you still like ads? Get Hulu.
You know what's funny? Or like made me feel kind of old. My niece, who is 5 now, my mom was telling me how, because my mom had DirecTV and was like putting it on for whatever to watch it, and she was so used to like watching YouTube or like watching a streaming service that like she ran into the other room where my mom was like, the TV's broken. And my mom was like, what? And she came in. She's like, it's not playing it. And she's like, those are advertisements on the game. You have to watch those first before you can watch your show. Oh. And I just feel like, how spoiled is this generation going to be that they're like, what the fuck is all these ads? What is this bullshit? I got to sit through something for 30 seconds?
Yeah, the other funny thing is, though, it's like, I feel like as we're getting more streaming services, I'm kind of looking at cable and it's like, maybe you do have the right idea.
Well, it's kind of funny because some streaming are, at least I know Netflix was planning on doing almost like a cable like feature, whereas you just kind of hit like play something, or like they were just going to stream like all of their stuff just in a row, basically like TV. They were planning on doing that randomly so you could just hop in and watch something. I'm like, wow, that kind of just sounds like TV.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because like when you log into Netflix, there is kind of like a button that just says like, it's kind of like a shuffle feature, which is terrifying to me.
I think that's what they what they replaced that with, because they were going to do that and they just fuck it, just like replace it with a play me something button or whatever the hell it is.
We should do after the show. We should just log into yours and just press that and see what it gives us.
See what it gives us.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get some like beauty. Have you ever watched The Package?
No.
Well, that's the one with the guy cuts his dick off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that good?
It had its moments.
Okay.
It had its funny moments. Overall, kind of like, but it had its funny
See, here's the
moments.
thing. That's the type of movie that I will only watch 2 specific clips of on, like if you give me a movie like that, and I hear that, well, what's the premise? And you tell me, it's a guy cuts his dick off, and the whole film is them trying to get his dick to him in the hospital because they gave the pararescue guys the wrong cooler that didn't have his dick in it.
Is this a comedy or is this a serious
It's a
thing?
comedy. 100% a comedy.
You couldn't make a movie like this.
Yeah,
and
there's
treat it
no
Oh, yes,
seriously.
you could. You get its teeth.
That wasn't. I don't know if that was supposed to be serious.
I mean, it was like semi-serious, but
That's like saying The Room was serious, which supposedly it was supposed to be, but like it's not. Let's be honest.
everybody betraying me. I'm fed up with this world.
Oh god. Keep your stupid comments in your pocket. That's my favorite line from the whole fucking movie. I love that.
But
See, my counterpoint, people are like, oh, streaming services are just becoming cable again. I'm like, not really.
It's kind of like cable that you can like choose.
Exactly.
What you want.
Like, I don't care about Paramount or NBC stuff.
Right.
So,
But
I'm
I feel
not gonna
like
get those.
part of it that I get where that's coming from, but it's only because part of it is people were really looking for just a platform to, like, you buy one platform and you get like a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah.
That was the whole streaming. Like, that was the allure of streaming in the beginning.
Capitalism.
True. And now it's basically just like, hey, you want to watch SpongeBob? Get the SpongeBob streaming service. You want to watch Rick and Morty? Get Hulu, but still.
Yeah.
Still, it's like, it's...
the problem is when it gets too selective. Like, with Netflix, it's just so much, and it's such a huge variety. It's another reason why I think Crunchyroll is probably the best like anime streaming service you can get, because of just the sheer amount.
You're trying to tell me to cancel my Funimation?
No, because the thing with Funimation is that they balance it out by having like, it's a matter of like, oh man, there's some new shows this season, but this particular, like, Wonder Egg, Skate the Infinity, and Mushoku Tensei, the 3 shows that I was like hyping up at the beginning of the season. I was like, oh man, these are the most promising shows this season.
And Attack on Titan.
And Attack on Titan. Well, Attack on Titan is on Crunchyroll as well, but those other 3 shows I mentioned are only available through Funimation's streaming service. And they also have, and then of course they also have the dubs as well. So like Funimation has a large selection, not as large as Crunchyroll, but a pretty large selection.
And they're both owned by the same company.
And the dubs, and now they're both owned by Sony. So it's like, it's just...
Now it's going to be Funaroll.
But I think that like Crunchyroll and Funimation both have like, they have enough where like I could justify paying for those services, but I don't know if I could justify paying for like Paramount Plus or like HGTV Plus or whatever. Like,
do they have something like that?
Man, I really like my home renovation shows.
Oh, actually, I think that's grouped into Paramount Plus. So actually, I like my son. Listen, I don't know if you guys have ever watched House Hunters International, but it can get pretty exciting. We're like, okay, which one of these where's the pants in the family?
I just want to know, like, is Peacock worth it? And I feel like it's like, do you like The Office?
Exactly. The appeal is The Office and maybe Parks and Rec, and that's
Rock.
it.
And 30 Rock.
30 Rock, yeah.
30 Rock is also pretty great.
I never watched it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, same.
Parks and Rec, though.
Mm-hmm.
The Office, though.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's alright. Okay.
I mean, I feel like if you like Parks and Rec, like a lot of the reason you watch Parks and Rec, I feel like, is because of Amy Poehler.
No.
I watched it for
Ron Swanson, and fucking honestly, almost anybody
Pratt.
but, like, don't get me wrong, I don't hate her. I think she was still good and everything. Like, I still thought she was funny, but I liked Chris Pratt. I can't remember what Ron Swanson's actor's name. Oh, Nick Offerman, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked Leslie's boyfriend. What was his name? Adam something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
I liked him too. So I honestly kind of liked it. Like, everybody else
I know,
more.
but like Amy Poehler and like Tina Fey are like comedy dream team, and so like Tina Fey and like 30 Rock is like fucking legendary. I feel like
Legend. Wait for it. Dairy. Sorry, you were talking about
that's
How I Met Your Mother.
Was I talking about it?
No, I just brought that in out of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh man, what a great show until it wasn't.
What a great show it was until it was terrible.
Oh, but I just realized that I was talking about what was the package. Yes, that's the type of movie where like you tell me the premise and then all I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm probably never gonna watch it, but I will go on YouTube and I'll look like, all right, I want to see the scene where he cuts his dick off, and I want to know at the ending if he gets it reattached or if he doesn't. And then that's that. Those are the two questions. Those are the two most important questions that I want.
But those are like the lamest scenes. Actually, it's not. The way he cuts his dick off, it's kind of funny, and what happens after that. But still,
there's like a new movie that I haven't heard of or something.
I think I watched it like a year ago.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say it might have came out 2 years ago.
Apparently.
Come on, man. I mean, obviously, it's just not that prominent of a movie for you. I mean, to be fair, it also, like, if you go to Netflix, there's no name. Like, it literally is just a picture of a grapefruit. It doesn't even say, like, the package on the art or anything. It's not a grapefruit, eggplant, excuse me. It's just a picture of an eggplant. That's all it is.
There's no name. You can't even search it.
You can search it, and you can, like, when you hover over it, it'll say the package. But, like, if you were, like, just going through things, all you would see is just a picture of an eggplant. It wouldn't say anything until you hovered over it.
That's pretty interesting in itself.
Like the eggplant emoji?
Like it's just a white background and just the eggplant emoji.
I feel like I've seen that, but I was like, I don't care enough to go check what this is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't give you anything extra to make you be like, that looks interesting. No, it's just literally a fucking eggplant.
Yeah.
So the reason we decided to bring up Netflix was because there's some cool things coming to Netflix soon-ish. Some things sooner than later. One of them is Yasuke, which is executive produced by LaShawn Thomas, who is this. He's a guy who's worked on a couple of animated projects that are either produced directly in Japan or more often than not they're like produced here in the West. But he's just this cool guy who's been making. He's had some interesting ideas and some interesting like pilot and concept short films. A lot of his works, that they have lots of great action, and he makes a point of putting some more like racial diversity in a lot of these animated projects. And the story of Yasuke is actually really interesting. There was, I think, he was a slave
to a Portuguese missionary.
Yeah. Was he? Wait.
He was a slave to a Portuguese missionary who he gave to Oda Nobunaga.
Yeah.
This is like technically based on a true story kind of thing, right? Okay, that's what I thought. Or I guess more like based on a whatever you want to call that. I don't know if it's like a true.
Well, the way they were doing it with this show. Sorry, Matt, I'm stealing your fire on this one. So missionary gives Yasuke to Oda Nobunaga or something like that. Then once Oda Nobunaga dies,
try to say that 3 times fast.
Dies. He gets brought back to like some missionary mission or something, and then you never hear him of again. Never hear of him again, and that's where the show takes place, is after he's exiled.
Oh,
so they're kind of it is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought it was just him I thought it was just him working with Nobunaga.
Well, see, that's what people were saying, is like, why is Oda in the trailers? But some people are like, oh, this maybe just a flashback or something.
It could be, or maybe it's not even him.
Maybe.
I don't know if they. Like I told you guys before I started, I just didn't watch like the full trailer.
So this show is being produced by Studio MAPPA, who, if you recognize that name, you're like, oh, it's because they were already a really big studio for a while, but they had like 8 different shows that they made in the year 2020, one of which being the final season of Attack on Titan, Part 1.
So you're in for some good shit with that.
Yeah, and so they've been a real workhorse to the point where, like, when discussing MAPPA, you're either like, oh, hell yeah, MAPPA, they're on a roll, or you're like, oh, I'm really concerned about the conditions of these animators at the studio.
Yeah, right after like crunch.
All that crunch, all that other stuff. Like
crunchy roll.
Poor taste.
Continue,
Matt. But MAPPA is now working on this, and the show looks gorgeous. And it's clearly taking a bit more of a fantastical spin on the tale of Yasuke to a more like romanticized fantasy tale. I do hope that they kind of include some elements of like that that racial tension, because some people look at the story of Yasuke and they'd be like, oh man, the Japanese fucking loved black people, but like if there's still like, having been to Japan and having talked to people who've been in Japan for a while who are foreigners, I wouldn't say that like it's not, I wouldn't say it's like they're exactly like, oh man, they're so kind to everyone.
Right.
It's kind of like more like, I had it described to me, it's like, yeah, with the Japanese, it's kind of like a very polite racism.
Yeah, well, funny you should say that, because I was reading some of the history when we watched the trailer for the first time, and I was like, this is like, it's not like terrible, but it's like a polite racism sort of thing. So.
Well, like, there's one story that like when he was taken under like Nobunaga's wing,
he made him scrub himself or something. Well, like
because
that,
they didn't think that it was actually his
yeah,
skin
they thought
color.
his skin was like inked or something.
Yeah,
like that.
so it was just like I'm interested to see where they take the story. With LaShawn Thomas as executive producer, I'm thinking that it'll be fantastic. It'll have fantasy elements, because there are some stuff in the trailer that's like, okay, that's supernatural, but I'm hoping that it also has something of, like a bit of an edge to it.
Right, which I'm sure it will. The thing is, I feel like for me, I barely even knew anything about this. That's why I was like, oh, it's a real thing. Like, I didn't know if this was like an actual, and that's actually what I've seen in the YouTube comments too, where people were like, well, this doesn't make any sense. Why does it have to be a main black guy in the thing? And I'm like, and the people in the comments are like, it's because it's a true story, you idiot.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Right, no, yeah.
So I'm really hoping they do kind of like go into the actual history of it too, because I'll probably look it up anyways, but I also want to see like more about it.
Well, that's why I think it's like after the last recorded thing of him has happened, is because it's like, I'm just a simple boatman. It's like after he got exiled or whatever.
Wandering merchant that's probably also a badass samurai man.
Yeah, and then the flashbacks of him with Oda are probably just being like, but who are you? Where did you come from?
It's going to be like a historical... It's probably going to be like historically accurate before.
Yeah, like, the flashbacks. Yeah.
I haven't seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, but I have a feeling it's going to be kind of like that. Where it's like...
Oh, that's not a good sign.
No, is it not? Okay. I just feel like the flashbacks of that, if they had any, would have been like legit Abraham Lincoln, but then like everything now is just like bullshit that they made up with.
The sad thing about Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is that like I remember watching it in theaters, and then I was like, oh man, like I can tell that they cut out certain things from the trailer that were a lot cooler. But it's just, as a concept, like the fact that movie played it completely straight is like both really admirable and really stupid.
See, that's why I didn't go see it. When I heard of it, I was like, huh, what a concept. I'm never going to watch this. And so far, it stayed true to that.
Well, apparently they changed the ending, because originally, because in the movie, like, he gets assassinated like he does in history, but by
a vampire?
But I don't remember, actually. I think he killed the vampires. But at the end, because I think he had a friend who was a vampire, and then at the end, it was like cut to the modern day, and the guy and like his vampire friend like approaches some other dude and like gives the same speech he gave to Abraham Lincoln when he was gonna like train him to be a vampire hunter, and then like it was actually kind of a cool scene, but in the original novel.
Wait, this was a novel originally?
Yeah, this was a novel originally from the same author as...
Matt, you should get closer to your mic.
From the same author as Pride and Prejudice and Vampires. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, sorry. But in the original novel, Abraham Lincoln didn't get assassinated. He became a vampire as well, and he's alive today.
Oh my god. Actually, that kind of sounded like a better ending.
See, I'd say the movie ending was probably a little bit better.
No, but what if John Wilkes Booth was a vampire? Instead of shooting him, he just like bit him, and then it was like, the president's dead. And then he's actually undead. Yeah,
man,
and he's like,
John Wilkes Booth is even more of an asshole, because like not only did he kill the president, who was like known for kind of abolishing slavery or whatnot. He also killed the guy that like almost exterminated vampires. What the fuck? Yeah, right. Come on, John Wilkes Booth. What the fuck's wrong with you?
There's a great scene because at a certain point, Lincoln's son died, and then his wife was like, and his wife, Mary Todd, was just like, heartbroken. He had like a necklace that he wore, and at a certain point, she faces off against the woman who, like, the female vampire who I think killed their son or like poisoned her or some shit, and she has like a musket, and she drops this metal, because I think it's a silver necklace. She drops the silver necklace down the barrel of a musket and fires, and it lodges itself in her forehead, and that's how that villain dies.
I thought you were gonna say she lodged like a bulb of garlic in musket and shot it through.
Oh man, that would have been funnier. What the fuck were we talking about? Oh yeah,
Yasuke.
Yasuke is voiced by Lakeith Stanfield, who you might recognize. He was in Get Out as well as Knives Out. A lot of things with "out" in the title.
Was he the police officer?
Yes,
Okay.
he's a police detective in Knives Out. And here's the thing: he's a great actor. I love him.
Speaking of that, sorry, I don't know if we were going to talk about this later. Didn't Netflix just pay like $200 million to do Knives Out sequels now?
Did it?
I'm pretty sure.
But what would that sequel be? Just Daniel Craig and Lakeith David just going around?
It's basically like Sherlock Holmes.
Well, no, what they were saying is that the sequel, because he is working on a sequel to it, the sequels are just going to be that character Benoit Blanc, but it would probably just be a different murder, a different case.
Right.
Excuse me. Netflix buys Knives Out sequels for $450 million.
That does not. Although I guess Knives Out did do really well, apparently.
It did really
okay.
well.
Sorry, continue.
But here's the thing: I like Lakeith Stanfield, but I have an issue when they get like stage and screen actors to do voice acting, because unless you're Studio Ghibli, I don't think those actors are not always going to be well directed. And I gotta be honest, that trailer, Lakeith Stanfield did not sound that impressive in like his line delivery.
I was saying to Matt when we were getting that sick Wendy's Bacon Pub Burger, which we should do.
Redhead Redemption went down.
Redhead Redemption, exactly. That was my original joke, not Michael's.
I know. I looked at Matt so that he would maybe.
We need to explain. So I took a trip to visit a friend in Indiana, and we got Wendy's, and he even told me, like, yeah, a lot of the fast food places on this street near my house, all of them are like not the best. Like,
they all just like, fuck you and your order. We don't care. You're gonna get whatever the fuck we want to give you.
Like I ordered a pretzel bacon pub burger, which is amazing. If you haven't had it at Wendy's, have it. But I ordered it, and then I hadn't opened it immediately because I was gonna wait for my friend to get his food, which he didn't end up getting from. He was like, I'm not in the mood for Wendy's. So then we drove next door to go to Taco Bell, but then Taco Bell was like, sorry, our like system is down, so we can't take orders right now. So then we were like, okay, well, I guess we're going to Culver's. Let's see if they can save the day. We got to Culver's, and then I started, while we were in the drive-thru for Culver's, I opened it up. So there was a pretzel bun, there was some bacon, but I just clearly somebody didn't know what the hell they were doing, because it wasn't a pretzel bacon pub burger, and it also wasn't a pretzel bacon pub like spicy chicken sandwich. It was chicken though, but it was a grilled chicken. Ew. It was like a grilled chicken. I was like, here's the thing, it doesn't taste terrible. It's fine. But for Wendy's, fine is not fine.
Well, the fact that they switched the beef as for chicken is another story.
Yeah, like you can't go in expecting beef and then eat chicken like it's fine.
Yeah.
Like everything's fine.
And I was granted, I was contemplating, oh, maybe I will get the chicken, but they didn't they aren't allowed to read my mind and then get that wrong.
Sure.
You don't know the power Wendy's holds. They can read everything.
So I was very disappointed, and then so I was like, oh man, they need, if we get food before we do the show tonight, we got to do, maybe either we're gonna try something different, different place, or we need to do like a redemption arc. And we decided on a redemption arc.
And Colin came up with the beautiful joke, Redhead Redemption. I feel like I had to bring it up.
That's true. Thank you.
No problem.
Trying to steal my joke.
Hey, I was going to give you credit after Matt explained it.
No, I'm kidding.
No, I wasn't.
What about Yasuke and Wendy's?
That was a great joke, Michael. But Lakeith Stanfield, I love him as an actor, but I love him on screen because I think he's a great screen actor. I don't know how he's going to be as a voice actor.
He seemed kind of bland in the trailers.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, that's probably what people thought about Mark Hamill. I mean, look at where he's at now.
What? When did they think that?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, probably.
Well, but I think he played Luke Skywalker before he played. Oh yeah, no, you're exactly. No, yeah. That's exactly.
That's
what you
my
mean.
point. Yeah,
that's exactly what you mean. Yeah, so no, that's a great point because he did voice Joker, obviously.
Right.
So
and the Watcher from Darksider. So I just gotta give that game a little bit more love because it's a good game series.
Liam
that people
O'Brien
probably don't play.
and Mark Hamill.
Yeah, see, come on, man. They literally working alongside because Liam O'Brien was War, and then the Watcher was.
I think
watching
he also
him.
played a cop in the Stephen King film Sleepwalkers.
Who?
Mark Hamill.
Oh, wasn't he also like the trickster or something in the CW show The Flash?
Yeah, which is basically that was a funny episode. It was great because the Flash's dad, that actor, played the Flash in the original Flash TV show, where Mark Hamill played that character as the villain.
Oh, I didn't know
So there was
that.
a scene where like Flash's dad was like strapped to a chair, like held hostage, and they had like a back and forth together, and it was like, oh wow, this is like a fucking blast from the past. I love this shit.
That's pretty cool, actually.
So what else is coming out from Netflix? Well, we don't have a trailer or even a release date, but Castlevania Season 4.
Whoa, hey guys, it's me, Matthew, from the future. And by the future, I mean the past, according to when the episode comes out, but the future from where we recorded the episode. Literally a day after we recorded this episode, NX on Twitter, the Netflix Twitter account, but not the official one, but the cool one. I know, very confusing. They posted a little trailer and a little blurb about the new season of Castlevania. It is the 4th season. It is also the final season of Castlevania, which is coming out on May 13th. There hasn't been a ton of footage shown, but it's probably going to be really cool. Anyway, sorry that we were once again a little outdated with our information, but enjoy our discussion of the little poster that they released. And now I will take you back to the past.
There's 4 seasons now?
Yeah.
Fuck, how
Have
far
you not
back
seen
am
the
I?
3rd?
No, I don't even know if I watched the 2nd.
Oh,
No,
my
we talked about this
God.
before. He hasn't watched. I don't think you've watched any of it.
I watched the first season.
You did watch the first
Yeah.
season? Okay. You want to start? You
Like
know
a
what? You
long
want
time
to
ago.
start watching the 2nd season after the show?
Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe we'll see. Because
I got work tomorrow.
2nd season's really good. 2nd season's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd season's 10 episodes.
This isn't, well, this is kind of a spoiler, but not really. But I just love how there's nothing there's no sexual content in the entire, well, for most of the show. And then you get to the last episode of
Oh my
season
God.
3 and just complete, just all boobs.
Episode 9.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
They're
episode 9 to
Game of
10.
Thrones, we're gonna need all the boobs from the
Yeah.
entire show in one episode.
It actually was kind of a problem for me when I was reviewing it because what I
What, you got a problem with boobs?
well no I love boobs, you know that, but the thing is Castlevania Season 3 was really good, but I remember watching it and it was episode 9 and there were every single arc was at its climax, both figuratively and literally.
Literally.
Literally all 4 of the there were 4 storylines in season 3 and 2 of them were having huge battles and then the other 2 were characters fucking.
Who's the gray-haired dude? I can always forget his name. Fucking...
Wow. Because
Alucard.
Isaac was the other human.
Isaac's bro
And then-
guy.
Hector.
My God, Hector is such a fucking simp.
Hector is basically the who's the guy who got his dick cut off in
his
Game
name
of
is
Thrones?
Theon?
Theon. Hector's basically the Theon Greyjoy, except
Yeah.
he has a way better dick.
Theon, you're a good man. Sorry, you guys not remember that from the
Was it-
last season?
Dude, it's been so long.
wait, from
I
the last
stopped
season?
From the last season.
I stopped
never watched
mid-season.
the
You never
fi-
watched the last
no,
season?
I
I
stopped
haven't-
mid-season 5.
Because my dad he stopped paying for HBO, so I wasn't able to keep up with it.
What? I mean, don't get me wrong. The 8th season is terribly rushed. However, the story I think is fine. I think the story overall is fine. It's just
Right.
so rushed that it kind of
Yeah.
ruins it.
Mhm.
But I still think you should watch it.
No, I want to. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Sorry, yeah, that's just something from the end where Bran, whatever, wheelchair kid.
Oh yeah, worst candidate to be king ever.
Yeah, he's just
I
like,
saw it
most
coming,
boring.
to be honest.
good
Oh, it should have been
man.
Sansa. Fuck you, HBO. I'm kidding.
I think it's the Benoff.
Okay,
I mean,
but look,
technically,
this
it's
is-
George R. R.
This
Martin,
is
but-
why George R. R. Martin is never going to actually finish his books, because he knows whatever he comes up with, people are going to hate regardless.
Well, now HBO is basically paying him not to. They're basically
yeah?
like, just come work for us instead. Which now I guess he's making
also
like
he's also working on that new
side
From
stuff.
Software game, Elden Ring.
Is he?
Yeah, which we know
Is that game
nothing
ever coming
about.
out?
Yeah,
That was the joke.
There was a trailer that was released to like shareholders, and it leaked. I sent it to the chat, but nobody watched it.
I watched it.
Oh, you did?
That trailer, when I looked at the comments, people were like, "This is literally from when they first announced it." So it's like it's not even a new thing.
It still looks cool though.
I was
You
just
get
like, this is just updated graphic Dark Souls.
But it does
Game
look,
of Thrones.
but it does look like they have more of an, from the trailer alone, it does look like they have a little bit more of an emphasis on magic, because I know magic builds in like Dark Souls and
Magic and Dark Souls is pretty cheese.
yeah,
And they're fun. It's fun. It's pretty cheese.
free cheese. What the fuck were we talking about?
Fucking
Castlevania.
Theon being the Hector.
Yasuke.
We're already done with that,
I'm
Colin.
sorry.
Castlevania season
He's
3.
like, I just want to watch Yasuke.
Yasuke, I'm fucking hyped for.
There were 4 storylines.
Hector
in
is
season 3.
Theon. That's where we left off.
Yeah,
Just letting you know.
Hector's basically Theon Greyjoy, except he gets to keep his penis.
And he's more of a simp.
Well, yeah,
Yes, and I'm honestly a simp for the same woman he's a simp for. So
You're
it's
like,
fine.
damn, bro, you're just you're simping too much.
She's a hot, pale, redhead vampire. What more could you want?
Okay, yeah, I can't fault you there.
But it kept cutting back between epic battles and sex scenes. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? And my dad walked into the room and he was like, are you enjoying this show? Or... because I kept just being loudly confused by this episode, because it has some of the greatest action I've ever seen in the whole series. And again, director Adam and Sam Dietz from Powerhouse Animation, they've done an absolutely wonderful job with that show. I think it's one of the best directed, best animated like adult dramas like on Netflix. And I mean, it's really just it has raised the bar for American animation, I think. And absolutely wonderful. If you haven't watched Castlevania, whether you're a fan of the games or whether you know nothing about the games like me, just watch it. It's so good. But the season 4, they released a poster. And the poster looks really cool.
Yeah.
But we don't know anything more about it. But even then, it's like, here's the thing. I'm concerned.
So what you're saying is we basically know the same amount of information about that we know about The Witcher.
Trevor's smiling.
Basically.
He's smiling.
Whoa,
But I'm like, is he smiling?
He's not
is he happy?
depressed.
I know, but it's like he's usually sad. And it's like, is he happy? Like, is something good gonna happen? Or is like, but his shirt's tattered and the armor's cracked.
He looks like he has fucking curse mark on one arm.
Maybe he just maybe it's not a smile of happiness. It's like a smile of insanity.
Well, or he's gonna die, and I'm really sad if he's gonna die.
They wouldn't kill Simon Belmont off.
Colin, have you seen Game of Thrones?
Or Trevor, whatever. I've watched the
Game
show.
of Thrones?
Yes, but this isn't Game of Thrones.
From what you're describing the last episode, it fucking sounds like it.
No main character has died in Castlevania.
Wouldn't that be a change up if it did?
It would, but they would have to do a time jump where like Sypha and Trevor have a kid, and then the kid is
they do have a kid in the game storyline. So,
but then they have to get rid of Sypha, and Sypha's the best character.
No, because here's the thing. I bet you, the end of the season, Sypha's gonna get pregnant, Trevor's gonna die, and then time jump between the end of this season and whatever the next
and then Alucard's gonna be Dracula.
Or they know people are expecting that, so they don't do that at all.
Yeah. But here's the thing: Alucard in the poster has. Because the official Netflix, like the Twitter page, they posted, and then they did a version that was like the follow-up tweet that was like zoomed in, like enhance, and it's like it's the Belmont like family crest, I think, on this shield. I think this is a shield from the game, so it's like, because I mean Alucard was in a pretty dark place at the end of season 3.
Well, Alucard, he has the Belmont family estate below him, so he's probably just bored out of his mind, just looking for shit.
Probably. I'm so excited for this season because we have, I think, some of the best characters.
So there's Dracula and there's Alucard, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference?
Alucard is his half vampire son.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what am I gonna name him? How about my name backwards?
Yeah. Well, then he has an actual name. Oh fuck, what is it?
Jeremy.
Yes.
So it's Adrian Tepesh.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Why the fuck does he go by Alucard?
I don't know. They're
like his nickname.
No, it's kind of just like he
like,
literally
Dad,
said
you
it.
love me.
Remember they said it in the first season? They were just like, "I'm Dracula, but the opposite." or some shit
They
like
did
that.
not say
yes,
that.
They said
They
that
never
line.
said it.
Yes, they did.
They never
Colin,
said
I will
on
show you.
Dracula by the
Colin.
opposite.
I have seen the first season, and I'm calling bullshit.
I will show all of you guys. It was essentially that line.
Essentially is not the
Essentially
same
is not
thing
the
as
same
is.
thing.
Show you the
Essentially
line.
is not is.
After we finish recording this, I'm going to show you that part.
He did
Alright,
not say
after the
I'm
ad
Dracula, but the opposite.
We're gonna we gotta fucking okay. After the ad break, we're gonna come back and we're gonna immediately talk about that.
Yes. So anyway, I'll post a link to the tweet that they released in the description. But he so did not say that.
He said,
Oh my
they're
God.
like some people call me Alucard because
Yeah, so okay,
Because
that's,
I'm
that's
Dracula,
believable.
but not.
That's believable. It's like some people call me Alucard. That makes sense. But it's like that. I'm sorry. That
no,
line,
they actually said something like that.
I'm sorry. But just
They
it's
call
just
me Alucard
here's
because
the
I'm
thing.
like Dracula,
The way
but
that
like
you
half.
said it, if they said it word for word the way you said it, that's the stupidest line ever. I'm like Dracula, but the opposite. That's some like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen shit.
I'm gonna show you, and you're gonna see I'm right.
It's like, what is that? An automobile.
Gentlemen, the Nautilus.
Call me Ishmael.
Oh my god.
All right.
Yeah, man, that movie did have some terrible lines. Colin, what time we at?
They had some terrible
35.
lines, and then they had one great line, which was I think when it was like Jekyll and Hyde. It's like we might have some danger ahead. It's like I call it sport, and it's like
And you're like, oh shit.
That's a good line.
That was a good line, actually.
The final bit of Netflix news: Jordan Vogt Roberts, the man who directed Kong Skull Island, good movie, who is going to be directing Metal Gear Solid, starring Oscar Isaacs as Solid Snake,
Nice.
is directing the first ever live-action adaptation of the hit Japanese animated franchise Mobile Suit Gundam.
Nice. I
don't know.
I don't know nothing about
it, yeah.
Gundam.
So Gundam
I've played Dynasty Warriors Gundam. That's all I know.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it's fair and love and war.
If you want
line
to,
up so much
watch Gundam related things on Netflix, actually right now you can watch Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn, which is awesome. It's like 9 episodes. It's amazing. 10 out of 10, honestly.
Would watch again.
And then there is another 2-season show called Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans, which is also a really good show. Which is sort of Gundam is weird because a lot of its shows, there's like the Universal Century timeline, which is like the main series, which is like the original show Mobile Suit Gundam, then its sequels and Unicorn, and even the upcoming films that are coming out soon. But then there's like alternate timelines. There's like Gundam Thunderbolt, which is like a really like jazz-centric like Horrors of War type story. Iron-Blooded Orphans, which is a lot more of like a kind of heavy metal sort of like alt history take on the source material. Regardless of what iteration you're watching, you're gonna get mobile suits, the mechs. You're gonna get lots of interesting like space politics. It's some interesting shit. I would call it. I used to say that it in terms of the length the franchise has been going, you could either call it like the Japanese equivalent to Star Wars or the Japanese equivalent to Star Trek. It could work either way because it's very political in the way the Star Trek was, but it also has characters called new types, which are basically like people who are attuned to essentially the Gundam equivalent of the Force, which basically just means that they can pilot mechs real good.
Nice.
And also have like superhuman like empathy. And can like read and like connect with people's minds through the like
that explains the games a lot more.
Yeah, so I think Gundam's story is like there's some really cool shit in that franchise, and I think that if you're someone who is a lover of either Star Trek or Star Wars, it's worth giving that series a shot.
Quick side tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Just putting on that sweet chapstick, right?
Oh.
It made me think, how the hell do chapstick companies make money? Because I've had the same stick for like 2 years.
It's because everybody loses their stick.
That's a fair point.
Solve it.
You're one of like the few people who hold
I've
on
had
to
this chapstick since fucking Poland.
See, yeah, like you're one of the few people who hold on to it. Everybody else probably just forgets about it and like
It's,
loses it, and they have to buy it again.
It's because he keeps it up his butthole.
Yeah. Oh, Keister?
Keith David, Keith David, whatever his name was.
I'm the president of the United States, and no, that's a terrible impression. Of
That
Keith
was an
David.
awful.
He's got such a deep voice; it's impossible to mimic.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Keith David. No.
Anything else about Mobile Suit? About the movie that you know of? I know nothing besides the fact that it's being made.
Yeah.
No, I know nothing. I don't know what. I would assume that if he's making Mobile Suit Gundam, he's just going to adapt the original like TV story, which is admittedly a lot to adapt. But I mean, I can't imagine they would make a Gundam movie and only make one of them. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I've only ever seen one movie that Jordan Vogt Roberts has made, and it was Kong Skull Island, which I think is a pretty good movie, a beautifully directed movie. I'm very excited to see what he does with Metal Gear Solid. So if anybody could make... If I had faith in any director to make a good Gundam movie, Jordan Vogt Roberts, off the top of my head, I'll be like, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Nice. I had actually one more Netflix related news. Godzilla, the anime.
Oh, yes. Godzilla Singular Point.
Yes. So far by the trailer, it looks like it's going to be all about fighting smaller monsters for most of it, and then like the last 2 episodes will actually have Godzilla in it.
I want more Godzilla.
See, here's the thing. I've watched the trailer. It's one of those situations where it's like, I'm excited and I'd like to watch it, but I'm already like preparing myself to be like, this is a Godzilla show where I'm more interested in the humans and everything else going on that isn't Godzilla.
Yeah.
Because they've got other monsters from the same mythos as well. They've even got
Pterodactyls.
They've got Jet Jaguar, which is like a mech, a mech from like Godzilla mythos. That's like it's that like they have in the show. I don't know, but all I know is that the character designer for the show is the same guy who did the character designs for Blue Exorcist. So all the characters look awesome, and the opening fucking slaps, and I'm very excited to watch it. But here's the I like CG in anime but the color grading and the shading and the detail on the giant monsters looks bizarre to me.
Yeah, it looked a little off. Like Godzilla, when we saw the small shot, I was like,
it's
ew.
the ugliest Godzilla design I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't gonna go that harsh.
Like in a good way, like Shin Godzilla was. Or...
Well, no, because that's like I wouldn't even like I'd call Shin Godzilla like that's a scary Godzilla. It encapsulates everything you expect from like what Godzilla should look like shape wise, and then also it makes him look really, really freaky. This Godzilla, though, he's got like 2 like weird like horns for some reason, and he's, I don't know, just everything about the way he looks isn't great. There were some friends of mine who were saying like this show looks like shit, and I'm like, I kind of get it, but these character designs look so good.
See, I kind of feel like it's gonna be a terrible Godzilla show, but it might be a good show overall.
It might just be a good show overall. Like
Right.
I've heard some things about the story and like the direction they're taking with it. Like the main characters seem to be scientists and researchers who are looking into the scientific purpose beyond why all these giant monsters exist, which sounds like, oh, that sounds like what the Legendary movies that they're making in the US are kind of doing, but I can already guarantee you this is going to do it way better than those movies. So
I haven't watched any of those.
I've watched.
That's why I can't really say
So I watched
anything.
Godzilla 2014. Who here's watched Godzilla 2014?
Is that the one with Brian David Cranston?
Did you say Brian David Cranston?
Whatever. I'm tired tonight. What's happening?
Yes, it's the one with Brian. It's the one that wasted Brian.
The one
Cranston.
with Walter White in it, yes.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I didn't like it.
Hal from fucking Malcolm in the Middle.
I watched Kong Skull Island. I liked it. I watched Godzilla King of Monsters. I hated it. I watched Kong vs. Godzilla. I wasn't a fan.
I've watched none of these, and I might like them anyways.
But the fight, I will say this, the fight choreography between Kong and Godzilla is really good in Godzilla vs. Kong. But everything else sucks. So
I mean, I guess they kind of gave you what you were looking for then. Like, that's
suppose.
all I really.
I know, but
expected.
like, here's the thing. Listen, when Kong Skull Island exists and when Shin Godzilla exists, like those are two movies where every time the big monster's on screen, I love it. It's great. But also, those two films in particular have really good human storylines. Shin Godzilla being this kind of like witty critique of like Japanese bureaucracy, in addition to being a Godzilla film and and kind of a commentary on like the response to natural disasters, which, you know, is kind of a metaphor for like what Godzilla is. He's a force of nature, as well as obviously a metaphor for like nuclear war.
Right.
It's all like, it's amazing that like what that film does. And also it's directed by Hideaki Anno, who's the same guy who did Evangelion. So obviously there's some talent there. Jordan Vogt Roberts also had he made a King Kong movie, and then John C. Reilly was no joke like the best part of that movie. Him being like he was like this US like soldier who crash landed on Skull Island along with a Japanese fighter pilot, because it was like the movie starts with like World War II, and at first they're trying to kill each other, but then then they're on Skull Island. Obviously, all these monsters around. They end up surviving together and becoming pals. And like then when you meet them later, John C. Reilly is like this kind of quirky, but otherwise like he knows the island really well. He knows his shit, and it's just this really. It's actually a really kind of sweet tale, like that his story tells. But it's just like that's a really good human story, and they should have had more of that in Godzilla King of Monsters and in Godzilla vs. Kong. But the people who make the Godzilla films, I think they just gave up a long time ago.
They're like, yeah, we're just gonna make fights look nice.
Nice.
All right, I think we should actually go to the ad break this time.
We'll be back with a decision on whether I'm definitely right or not about the Alucard.
He's definitely gonna be wrong.
He's wrong.
So I was right.
You were wrong.
I was right.
Okay, so
it was technically
correct, but incorrect.
The line was, "I am Alucard, the opposite of you." Speaking about Dracula.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't I'm Alucard. It's like the opposite of Dracula. Like
That's
that's fucking
essentially
stupid.
what he said.
And you said it was in the first season,
No, I said
it was in the second
Well, if we could
season.
play it back, Matt, this is an editing note for you later. Play this.
Sure. He's never gonna listen to this. And do that.
Hey, Matt from the future. Here's a clap sync. Yeah.
Play the part where I say it's either in the end of season 1 or beginning of season 2.
You never said that.
It's
I
never
did.
Gonna,
Yes,
it's
I
never
did.
gonna be played. You guys will know because you have listened.
The audience will know.
Here's I don't think he ever even specified when it happened.
Yes, I did.
He
totally did.
actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm like 90% sure he said the end of season 1.
Yeah, you were 90% sure the line was wrong.
Because
I was 99% sure, and I guess I was technically wrong, but I was technically correct.
Well, here's the thing. He also didn't say it the exact same way you did. It's just you the way you phrase it. It's like that's what he was saying to Trevor and Sypha, where it's like I'm Alucard, the opposite of Dracula. But that's not
literally not how it happened.
That's not how it happened. It was him alone in season.
Well, that's your own perception, because I was thinking of the drawing on the floor scene while saying that.
Well, you didn't make it seem like you were thinking of that scene.
Yeah, and also you did it not in the right cadence. You also said it in a stupid way. That's why here's the thing. You botched it so bad that we were like, there's no way you could possibly
this is like the psychology fucking I don't know if you guys took psychology at all, but like the whole thing about the difference between collided and crashed. Like if you ask like, oh, like if you were asked a group of people, what speed were these cars going when they collided versus what speed were these cars going when they crashed or like smacked into each other. Like,
right.
The use of crashed or smacked versus like collided or something more like formal makes people think it was going slower. Like collided thinks like, oh, okay, maybe like bumped or some shit like that, you know? So that's what you did to us. You're basically like, you said it in such a stupid way, used very specific words that changed our perspective. And
I'm the opposite of you.
I'm the opposite of Dracula.
And now...
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Sure.
I'm tying it all together, man.
And now...
You hear that? It's Culture Corner.
I don't know if I'm doing this little jingly thing good enough. Culture Corner.
We haven't done one of these in a long time.
It's been like 2 months.
The last time we did it, we watched Scooby-Doo, Zombie Island,
and Dragon Ball Evolution. And we had one extra member that was here to review it with us.
Yeah. So now we're only reviewing one movie.
Isn't that crazy how he got drafted and now he's not here anymore?
What?
Just go with it. Every episode I want him to go, but bullshit.
Oh, you want to make a
why he's not here?
Are we talking about like drafted to like the army or drafted to like the NFL or something?
Oh yeah, that's actually a great idea. Every episode we start like we introduce all three of us and then we come up with a reason as to why Frank isn't there.
Yeah. All right, but wait, no, fuck, I'm Frank. No, I am here. Shit.
Yeah, Colin got drafted.
Colin got drafted.
Right. I love how we're setting up the jokes midway through the show.
That's why I was looking at you. I was like, guys, just go with it.
Yeah. Well, we can't. Unfortunately, listen. If you could even do a proper Alucard impression, we're not going to be able to read your eyeballs.
I'm Alucard. I like to murder Asian people.
Jesus Christ!
That happened season 3.
Wait, does he actually just like murder a bunch of Asian people in season 3?
Don't spoil it.
Yeah, thanks, asshole.
There's only 2, but he banged them beforehand, so it's fine.
Wait, is that better or worse?
And they were brother and sister, so it's worse.
Well, not necessarily.
What?
Season 3 is a fucking wild
It just sounds like this. Literally, the more you describe, the more I'm just like, this is just Game of Thrones.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the brother and sister were banging; they were banging him.
Semantics.
I mean, they were still like
semantics.
This is what caused the confusion in the first place, Colin.
So anyway, the movie we're reviewing this week, month, however frequently we're going to do this.
It's been like 2 months. So
yeah, it's been 2 months.
This quarter of the year.
Yes, quarter 2, 2021. The film.
I think it's still quarter 1. I don't know.
Culture Corner is a little delight from the year 2019.
Man, get closer to your mic.
Promare. What?
Closer to your mic.
Oh, look how close I am to my mic.
You're not close.
There, that's better.
Okay.
I need your lips touching the windscreen.
No, it's gross.
Yeah.
We watched a movie called Promare. For
the
reference,
prequel of Con Air, by the way.
That's the running joke. It is called Promare. It came out in 2019, produced by Studio Trigger in Japan. Same people who've worked on shows such as Space Patrol Luluko, Kill la Kill, more recently SSSS Gridman.
I know one of those.
Yeah, and the currently airing SSSS Dynazenon.
Tricky.
I think they got enough S's in there.
Yeah, well, because the original series was called Super Samurai Cyber Squad, but cyber with an S.
Okay, I guess I enjoy the S's more.
Yeah,
than that just stupid ass name.
But I was actually in Japan studying abroad when Promare came out, and so I saw it in theaters with no subtitles. But surprisingly, I was actually still able to absorb quite a lot of the story from the visuals alone. They do a great job of that. And then I watched it 3 more times once I got back to the U.S. when G-Kids in America brought it to theaters. And then I got a Steelbook Blu-ray that I was going to watch with friends or family, and no one in my family wanted to watch it with me. So this show was the best opportunity to finally break out that Steelbook Blu-ray for the first time. I'm not kidding about that. Nice.
Which is kind of funny because realistically, if we were still quarantined, you wouldn't have been able to use
it's true.
Oh yeah, basically. So just to kind of prime everyone what this movie's about. One day, portion of the Earth's population awakens to fire-wielding powers, and in the ensuing chaos, these mutants are referred to as the Burnish. Years later, in the near-future city of Promopolis, Gallo Timos fights the Burnish Flames as part of Burning Rescue, an advanced firefighting unit built to meet the demands of a much more dangerous world. And after an encounter with Leo Fotia, the young leader of the Inferno terrorist group Mad Burnish...
Emphasis on young. Continue. We'll get to that later.
Okay, no, I'm cutting that out of the show if you talk about that. We're not talking about that.
I want to talk about it.
No, there's very important reasons we're not talking about that.
You can't cut
Come
it out.
on, it's a solid point.
It's not a solid point. Because it sullies a very important part of why this movie means so much to me. So no, we're not talking.
Oh, so you're censoring. Oh, you're censoring.
No, you're not.
So basically, this is what I'm hearing. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, but yours is wrong.
Yeah.
You're not spreading lies.
I bet you don't believe in freedom of press, Matt. Fuck.
How do you even live in America? Sorry.
After encounter with Leo Fotia, the young leader of the Inferno terrorist group Mad Burnish, he begins to learn more about them. When Gallo begins to have doubts about the morality of their treatment, he confronts the mayor, his adoptive role model, and uncovers the truth that threatens the entire planet.
Cray Forsyth,
the villain voiced by Crispin Freeman, who you may recognize from...
Crispy Free?
He's I couldn't remember if he's Madara or Itachi. He's one of those two.
Yeah, and he also voices Kirei Kotomine in the Fate series, as well as Alucard in Hellsing.
Listen, this is all I have to say about the movie. It has Matt Mercer and Yuri Lowenthal. Go watch
and
it.
Steve Bloom.
And
Johnny Young Bosch.
Yep.
Just go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got all these peeps in it.
So
it's got Bosque.
Bosque. We got a lot of Osques in this episode.
They're probably thinking I'm talking about Yasuke now. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right. My first opinion on the movie, I thought the fucking soundtrack was banging.
The soundtrack is honestly probably the best part of the movie to me, personally. I fucking love the soundtrack.
It's very colorful. I will say some moments did remind me of Powerpuff Girls era Cartoon Network a little bit.
Or like Samurai Jack.
Yeah, a little bit.
Samurai Powerpuff.
I will say some moments were a little too colorful and seizure-inducing.
It's Japan.
That kind of hurt my eyes a little bit. I will say
some of the moments I was like, this is a little much. But after watching it a second time, I was like, yeah, I don't really care anymore. Yeah. The first time I watched it, I was like, oh, theater fucking destroying my retinas. But the second time, I was like, yeah, that's fine.
It's a good movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The opening of the film, I describe it as relentless. The opening of the film it immediately opens on. Well, like, first it gives you a lot of background, and then when it gets into the present day with the story, it thrusts you into this huge action set piece that is pretty much consistently like in fifth gear for the entire for like the first like 30 minutes.
You know, the beginning, now that I think about it, kind of reminds me of like My Hero. Where, like, the beginning was, like, explaining how the world got superpowers and kind of explaining how the world got to Burnish.
Yeah.
And then, like, kind of immediately goes into a battle, although My Hero's not, like, that beginning battle is not anywhere near the intensity that fucking this battle was, because this was just fucking balls to the wall, like, what the fuck's going on? But basically, you're just like, oh, shit, powerful firemen.
Both ways.
What?
Both firemen. Powerful firemen.
Burnish, firemen, people with fire, the only thing he's gonna contribute to this whole
You're broken, Maz. We do it every culture corner.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, sometimes you gotta break
Matt. Me in the last culture corner?
I don't know, probably
not entirely, but a little bit.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what my emotional attachment was to the last two films. I think
obviously you were really attached to Dragon Ball.
Yeah, of course.
That was a pretty riveting.
My grandfather died. I need to avenge him.
Fucking Jimmy Steve from Shameless being teenage Goku.
Remember him doing the handstand in the truck with like shit in his mouth? He's like,
And then fucking, what was Piccolo's? Oh my god, we can't even go back.
like
His fucking dumbass like bird stance. What the fuck he's doing?
I think it was like an ape like stance.
Yeah, I didn't even know what that was. Oh shit.
And there was no build up to it at all. So it's just like.
Well, the funny thing is, they made it seem like it was like part of a ritual to summon the dragon,
like
and it wasn't. Like,
anyway,
he just,
right.
Where's the Zack Snyder director's cut of Dragon Ball Evolution?
Yeah.
fuck yeah, dude. What was the director of Evolution? Anybody know?
I don't know. I've never looked it up. We should have.
The Evolution cut.
The Evolution cut. The Z cut.
Oh,
That's
don't sully the name of Dragon Ball Z with that shit.
There's a blend of like 3D and hand-drawn animation. I think is done actually super well in the opening, and they don't quite go as hard into that later in the film. They kind of do with like some of the mech fights, but a lot of the action later on is a lot of hand-drawn animation. But I think they definitely had some help from Studio Sanzigen, who is a I'd say well-known, but I feel like every time I mention it, people are like, who?
Yeah, you said it, and I was like, who?
Studio Sanzigen, they've done like CG animation work, and I think like before, like you had MAPPA or Studio Orange, these people who like have been making like actually like good CGI anime.
I just want to say, every time you say MAPPA, it reminds me of Nappa from Dragon Ball Z. It's just, I feel like I had to say that. I'm sorry. Continue.
Why didn't they make him a mascot? They should have. They should have like worked with.
Oh no!
They should have worked with.
Yeah, right.
With Toei.
With Akira Toriyama and been like,
gotten
yo, bro.
like some extra funding by doing a partnership with Toei. But they probably would have just gotten suckered into like oh man, we already have all of our animators working on Attack on Titan, but now they're being asked to work on fucking Dragon Ball. Oh jeez.
Yeah, but that would have been such a great animation studio to work on Dragon Ball.
Holy shit! There was like 13 episodes of garbage, and now this.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I recognize the contribution that Dragon Ball brought anime to the West, essentially, for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
For, like, shonen fans, popularize it.
My mom knows about Dragon Ball.
It's not good by modern-day standards.
No, see, that's the thing, is, like, as, like, a big Dragon Ball fan that I am, I still, like, completely agree with that.
The fights are pretty dope.
Yeah, but like overall, like I will say Kai has definitely kind of brought it more up to modern standards.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, it's like it's mostly just a nostalgia factor. It's just like, oh fuck yeah, bro, good show.
Yeah. Broly movie was good.
But like Studio Sanzigen, they've worked on some
movie was good.
stuff.
Broly movie was fucking fantastic.
It was really good. It was very that's another example of like an anime film that's very exhausting.
Yeah, in the beginning, you're just kind of like a lot of build up, a little bit of like stuff here and there, and then all of a sudden, the little second half of the entire fucking movie is just like adrenaline, like.
Yeah,
and then there's that girl, and then there's that girl who you just know like Broly banged as soon as the credits started rolling.
Oh, boy, absolutely.
That was a strange but good movie. But anyway, like, so I think they've worked with Studio Sanzigen in the past because Hiroyuki Imaishi, the guy who directed this, and he also directed Gurren Lagann, and back when he worked with Gainax. He also directed what did he work on?
Sounded like you were going to say Kill la Kill.
Well, the Kill la Kill, that was when he worked with Trigger, which is like the studio that he started afterward.
I thought you were going to say Gary Gygax for a second, but
Ooh?
The guy who made D&D.
Oh no.
You think I know who this is?
You think I look up D&D history on my free time with that fucking nerd Colin? Yeah.
What a fucking nerd. That's right, Frank. I know you're not like him.
Yeah, fuck Colin, right?
Yeah,
God,
Jesus.
That nerd.
But,
Frank's the cool one, I mean me.
But, Imaishi also worked with Sanzigen. I think there was a show called Black Rock Shooter, which I think he was like the action director for. And so, like, he's had experience with CG, but this is Studio Trigger's first feature-length film that they've ever produced. And it's actually kind of fitting that people kind of see this as like the third in Imaishi's like trilogy, because Gurren Lagann was very much like the themes of the film, of the themes of the show were I kind of wrote them down here. What did I write? Yeah, Gurren Lagann was kind of it was like the main themes were like evolution, maturity, and like the strength of like the human spirit, all kind of tied to a visual cue, which was like the like a drill, because the main character he starts the show and he's like in this underground colony because humans have been forced underground, and so he's just like a miner. He's just drilling underground looking for.
I thought you were gonna say he's just a miner, like he's a kid.
Well, I mean, he was.
You know,
at the
he's just
beginning.
a,
It's a minor.
just a minor. You know?
Yeah, I mean, he was, and then he like, but like they used the drill as like a visual, as a what's the word I'm looking for?
Representation, symbol.
Well, that thing. It's a recurring motif because like the giant robots, they have like drill weapons. It's the idea of like that double helix spiral on like a drill is, you know, like they use that as well as like, you know, the idea of like DNA, like human DNA is like that double helix, that spiral, and it's like the idea of a like, and they even refer to like the aliens refer to humans as the spiral race, and it's just this idea of evolution as this drill constantly moving forward and evolving and getting stronger.
So the human race is being bullied for their DNA. They're like that fucking spiral race over there.
When you explained to me the aliens of Evangelion and like the story, I'm like, shit, I kind of want to watch this.
Yeah, I mean,
I know absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, with like you can watch stuff like Gurren Lagann. It's like, oh man, this is really cool
Oh
fights.
yeah, that's what we're watching about. Not
I was gonna
Evangelion.
say, yeah, I don't know where Evangelion
Look,
came out of.
they're similar.
I mean,
concept.
They got mechs.
I get what you mean. Like there's certain things where it's like, you know, I'll watch something like The Lighthouse and I'll be like, that was kind of weird, and then I'll then someone will explain it. Like that's another reason why I love being a critic, is because if I can see something beneath the surface, I can try to bring that. I can try to bring something that's like deeper, that's so deep, and I try to bring that to the surface, because I think that if people can look at a show or media in a deeper way, there's like, I don't know, there's something magical that can happen where people can appreciate art differently and have a more meaningful relationship with it. And so that's why I really enjoy looking at the themes of like Imaishi's other works, and then seeing how those kind of were incorporated into Promare, because I would say that Promare is thematically a combination of the stuff that worked from both of those shows. So like Gurren Lagann, it was like evolution, and then Kill la Kill, for as like sultry as it was at times, it was also very much a show about duality. You know, rich versus poor, the clothed versus the naked.
How it's not nudity unless you show the nipple.
Yeah, and how literally the ending of that show, like they had every single character completely naked, but all the women just didn't show the nipples. Censorship. It works. So Promare is itself like a film about duality, unity, and in a sense, I also feel like it's kind of like about kind of shameless self-expression and like and pride. Like the characters are constantly talking about their pride. Gallo, he is this, admittedly kind of airheaded,
Kind of reminds me of Sonic.
Kind of, yeah.
Got the blue hair.
He's got the blue hair and
spiky
like
blue
that.
hair.
People who have watched Gurren Lagann always compare him to Kamina, who is sort of like the big bro character in that show. And, because they are somewhat similar. They're very loud, boisterous, airheaded dudes who are like super, like uber masculine, but they also have like a pride and an honor that they want to uphold. And in the case of Gallo, he's a huge nerd for like Japanese, like old-fashioned, like firefighting, like matoi, like staffs, which were like these things that they used to like fan the flames of.
That just make the fire go harder.
But I think
They didn't know that.
I don't know exactly what the technology was. It might have been that it was like, it could have been like some like weird like mop looking thing. I don't know exactly.
It was like a sprinkler system. They just spinned it and like all the water came off of it.
I think it was something like that, maybe. But that same thing is
pulled out of my ass.
But that same thing is utilized with his like mech. It's like this, this stick that has sort of like this that's model. It's like this staff he has that's modeled after and it's even called the Matoi tech. And I just love that when the guys at Trigger, when they make these new shows, they'll like take some small visual motif from like, some rare aspect of Japanese history or something, and then they turn that into like a huge recurring motif, and they do that here with that. But then like he talks about like his pride as a firefighter.
So what we're gathering is Gallo is a weeb.
Pretty much. He
fucking weeb.
Which we were discussing where in the hell is this town? I was saying fucking Italy or Greece or Mediterranean.
Wasn't his last name like Thymos?
Yeah, Gallo-Timos.
Oh yeah,
that sounds pretty
definitely
Greekish.
Greek or Italian. Yeah.
All the character names kind of sound kind of like Greek.
You just said it was Italian because it had fucking pizza.
No, I said Italian because there's a lot of similarities between Roman and Greek culture.
Oh, I literally thought I remember you specifically seeing pizza. And you're like, this is totally an Italy.
And then like even Leo, the second of the two main characters in this film, he's this fearless and composed leader. He strikes fear into people. He isn't above violence, but he also stresses that like he doesn't want to kill anybody. He just wants, freedom for his people and for them to stop being like abused and experimented on. And
just, occasionally like set fire to half the town every now and then.
Yeah. Again, okay, that's another thing I want to talk about, Matt, is I found it really hard to root for any side in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because like I understand
up until the end there, yeah.
Oh yeah, because the thing is, like at the end, then you just realize the other guy was just being an asshole, basically. Yeah. Like he was just like, yeah, I kind of know basically how to stop it. I'm just not gonna do it. Like,
yeah, right.
Like like he was.
But
being
even
an asshole,
before that doesn't expunge Leo of the fact that he just burned shit down because this entity was like,
yeah, just because like and a voice in your head is telling you set a fire.
It doesn't exonerate him from those crimes.
Yeah. That's like saying that because somebody's like, yeah, a voice in the head told me I got to murder somebody.
But
like,
I mean, when it's more than just a voice in the head. It was like I think that they physically like needed to like. I mean, it's kind of like the blessing and curse of the.
It still doesn't exonerate billions of dollars of damages.
Honestly, yeah, that's true.
That's the thing. Like, if this had been a longer series, I think they could have fleshed that out a bit more. I think in this case, it's more. Think of it less in terms of the broad strokes of.
The economical standpoint of
think of it less in the broad strokes of like, well, what do they do when they just go to like random villages? It's like it's more along the lines of like they are burning down a
big business,
and well, kind of. I mean, it's big pharma. It's like them kind of burning down like the How would I refer to it?
They're anti-establishment.
I mean, kind of.
They could have just gotten jobs as controlled wood burners because they do controlled burns,
like pizza makers.
Yeah, like that one guy who got arrested.
But then
we saw how that ended up for him.
Yeah, because then he just got like arrested and treated like shit.
Yo, bro, you making pizzas?
Like that was a character who like he found a way to be happy. He achieved self-actualization. He wasn't able. But then he just ended up being another victim of this of a kind of corrupt system that was preying on the other. So I think I need to get into like the things that I've recently been reading up on, and the things that watching the film again kind of blew my mind. There is a lot of kind of queer-coded subtext in this film, and if you don't realize it,
I disagree.
But okay, here's the thing. This is the reason that this film was very important to me. There's the queer-coded subtext and the main duo's relationship. So there's a lot of symbolism you'll find throughout the film, and it's both subtle, but it's also just very like simple. Squares and triangles, those two shapes, are constantly used in big, bold ways throughout the entire film. Even in the opening film, it is a triangle trapped within a rectangle, and that triangle kind of writhing and distorting until those.
Go for the penis vagina analogy here. Is that what we're going with here?
God damn it, Colin.
Look, this is a legitimate question because there's a lot of places use triangles and that kind of shit to represent that.
I mean,
type of
that's
thing.
not where I was going. With
Oh,
this.
okay. That's where we're going with that.
No, but
I was here for the ride.
so like the imagery of the city Promopolis, the buildings, everything. Like when it fades to black after the opening, and then you see like the like white squares. It like almost looks like the credits are rolling, and then it's just like more squares entering, and it fades in on the city. It's all squares. Everything is cubes and rectangles and squares. When you go into the main antagonist's like office, everything about his clothing, the fucking weird ass chair he's sitting in, everything is as square can be.
Yee, looking at
Even-
Because he's a square.
Oh, he didn't have enough foresight to something.
And even the lens
I'd bring that
flares,
back up, didn't you?
even the lens flares are squares.
There was lens flares?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna make a Minecraft joke when I saw that, but
Was
I
he
didn't.
J.J. Abrams? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right.
But then you look at the burnish, and every time that they're on screen, every time Leo and his crew are on screen, it's always triangles. It's the triangles in the opening. You see like the little X-rays of like what is the kind of burnish flame. The flame power is kind of inside them, kind of like it's reaching a boiling point until the powers can't be controlled anymore. The prison cells that the burnish are held in are triangle shaped. That warp engine designed by the antagonist, it's an octahedron, which is a combination of squares and triangles.
It looked like that thing out of No Man's Sky, Michael. You know.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know.
It's like the only platonic solid containing both 90-degree and 60-degree angles. So it's a meeting of those two.
You missed that their ashes were also triangles.
The ashes were triangles. The fire was triangles. It's literally squares and triangles, and that combined with
This whole movie was just a war of shapes. That's what we didn't know.
characters talking about their pride, and there was Gallo talking about his pride as like a firefighter, or Leo his pride as a burnish. There is. And let's not forget the most important thing: the bisexual lighting in the fire. The fire
I
is
thought
never
it was just cool colors.
Yeah, the fire is never a normal color you'd expect of fire. It's always blues, pinks, and purples. That are
Gotta
just
do it.
It's
If you want
amazing.
cool fire, at
Oh
least
yeah,
you gotta
of
do it.
course.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck orange.
Okay, let's go.
That was too far. You're
Yeah,
right,
I
I'm
love
sorry.
orange. Fuck red, if anything, sir. And yellow.
You're
Yellow's the
wearing,
worst
actually,
color.
that's more a red-orange shirt. But
Yeah, I like
Actually-
orange though. Fuck this shirt too. I like orange.
And I'm actually going to put a link in the description of the episode to 2 articles that are particularly interesting, I felt. There was one about kind of queer subtext in both Promare.
Can you nod over there, bud? The more you see you messing with just the more I hear it coming through. Sorry, continue.
Like queer subtext in the Lighthouse as well as Promare. And then there's another article which directly talks about the use of like shapes.
Is there really subtext in the Lighthouse when you have literally a dude jerking
Listen,
off?
you got. I had never seen the
I
movie.
haven't either, but
I was
I know
gonna say
that's
you have
part of
Edward
it.
Cullen and you got Green Goblin, bro. I don't know what that means about subtext, but it's there.
Who wouldn't go gay for Willem Dafoe? Honestly. But
Peter.
I'm a scientist myself.
I'm somewhat of a scientist.
Because the impression's bad. That's the like if I had never seen Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and I'd heard him say like I'm
kind of a scientist.
I'd be like, he never said that shit.
Well,
but then I
I'm
watch
kind of a
it
scientist myself.
and then I'd be like, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Yeah, it was the best one.
But
Would you? Did you say I love
I
corn?
said I love cards.
Oh. It's like Dracula, but opposite.
so like because I think those articles go into it, and one of them is literally about the use of shapes in Promare and how it's very consistently the squares kind of represent this society that
They're squares.
a society that very much has oppressed the Burnish and has oppressed this other, and then the triangles are used as for this group that's trying to kind of liberate itself. They're trapped. They can't reach self-actualization, and that's the funny thing. It's like if you think about it,
triangles are penises.
They are. Look, a lot of cultures use triangles to represent penises.
Listen. I just wanted to say, did you know why they say be there or be square? Because if you're square, you're not around.
Wow.
I have no idea if that's true. I just remember reading that one day, and I was
man.
that sounds like it would be true.
That sounds like it would be true.
Sorry, continue.
I don't have no idea.
Now I think about it, was there any circles in this fucking movie? Are they circlist?
The pizzas, think about it. And it's tied to the one character, the one burnish we see in the film who manages to at least unsuccessfully find some happiness and find a place where they can, just live their life.
It's because circular pizzas are made up of triangles. So maybe everyone that pizza parlor was a burnish and they just didn't know it.
It was a triangle.
A burnish makes
it was a triangle trying to be like a circle.
The point I'm trying to get to is that this is a very fun movie. It is a very well animated film. It is one that, in typical style with a lot of Imaishi's work and the works of Studio Trigger, is constantly escalating and getting grander and grander, building to a huge spectacle.
It's also not your typical animation either.
Yeah, no, it's very unique. But the thing that makes it more special to me is that, in addition to this symbolism and the subtext, the color theory, the way that those shapes play off of each other to tell kind of a story that is analogous to experiences that might be relatable to the queer community, and the fact that it, at major junctions within its story, major dramatic moments, has romanticized imagery that is not heteronormative and normalizes. Like, I'll just be direct about it. Like, there is a kiss scene in the film.
It's more of a CPR thing.
It's still romantic imagery.
No, it's the equivalent of Rey and Kylo kissing when it really wasn't a kiss. It was more of a CPR sort of deal.
That.
It's pretty similar.
But don't compare it to that.
But the Kylo and Rey kiss was like a legit kiss.
Was it? Oh, well,
they were both alive. She came back, and then
I got
kissed.
the CPR feel from that too. So
okay, but the point is, listen, I wrote in my notes. I'll just say it like this.
Leo looked a little young.
A little bit.
I'll just say this.
Like, David Bowie would have loved this movie. Not for the kid reason, but just in general.
All I want to say is that it's okay if you don't see the subtext. It's okay if you watched it and you were like, I don't quite see.
That's why it's subtext.
I don't see the. I don't quite see why like this relates to being a gay guy or wanting more gay representation, or I don't see the kiss actually being like. But to me, as someone who has been wanting more films, specifically action films, these grand adventure films, I've been wanting to see more characters like myself. Having this kind of subtext and having those types of romanticized moments, that meant a lot to me.
The only reason I don't see it as a romanticized moment is because other than that scene, there's really no other part where it's more of a romantic part. It's more of like a dude bro kind of thing, you know.
But it didn't have to be necessarily. But it didn't necessarily have to be a romance. It could be like any. It could be like any other fucking like action film that I grew up with, where it's like you have two characters who have like, they have some kind of bond, and then they have like the kiss at the end of the film.
No, but most of the time they have some scenes where they look at each other like, it's looking pretty hot there. Hey, like that sort of thing,
Where they like obviously are like checking them out,
right? Exactly, or like the awkward like touching each other's hands kind of shit,
right?
That sort of thing.
I get it. It's still like this is a very important film for me, and so for me, like watching it, I love Imaishi's work. I think he does wonderful things with symbolism, and he merges kind of like the Kaneda style of animation with this emphasis on posing and making every frame as dramatic and impactful as can be. But to have that extra, like maybe not even intentional stuff in there that can appeal to me and can appeal to other people who, and just the story in general, it doesn't have to just be limited to the queer community. It can be symbolism that can relate to anyone who feels like an outcast or who feels like they're kind of constrained within that box.
That's a fair point.
Yeah,
fair point.
So for that reason, I feel like this is the type of film where, and listen, you can watch this film and be like, I didn't really get that, but I guarantee you'll still have a fun time watching this film because
it's a fun movie.
For not being as long as some of these other stories that Imaishi and what's his name? Fucking
that other guy.
The writer Kazuki Nakashima, who wrote all of Imaishi's like other projects and also wrote Batman Ninja. For fun fact,
strike one.
I knew that was gonna get you. I think his. I don't even know where I was going with this. Fuck.
You know, I have to think about it since he wrote Batman Ninja. What a terrible movie Promare is. No, I was kidding.
No, I like Promare. It's a good movie.
No, it's good. I'm joking.
Again, David Bowie would have loved the shit out of that movie.
It's not as lengthy as those other stories, because obviously those other stories were TV shows primarily. But I still think that even with that, there were the characters that they chose to focus on throughout the film had some memorable. They had a notable arc throughout the film. Gallo especially kind of being someone who, has grown up in a society that has certain beliefs about the other, and then is sort of ignorant of certain things. But what makes him a more like a likable hero is that he's not too slow to kind of catch on and be willing to kind of say like, yeah, no, I you're right. I was kind of being ignorant, and I think that's one thing that kind of, and it's not like that goes unnoticed by Leo as a character as well. So for as little time the movie has before it jumps, because it feels like the movie kind of jumps from its first act right into its third.
Yeah, honestly,
that's literally what I was actually going to talk about, like kind of like the shortcoming for a second. Like that was one of my shortcomings with the pacing. I feel like it was kind of like a lot of like the beginning, like setup kind of stuff and like explaining all that stuff, and also I was like here's all this crazy shit going on.
I thought it was going to end halfway through the movie, quite frankly.
Yeah, because the first act goes, and then it feels like you're entering the third act, which is really the second act, because they break up the action to have a lot of
exposition. They
have to have some exposition, which is an opportunity for the characters to breathe after the huge set piece. But then it's also building up, and this is why I love the screenwriting for this film, because I feel like they knew exactly what to make dramatic and what to make humorous. And they know exactly how serious they want people to take it on a surface level. And so it all builds up to what is essentially two jokes, one of which is just funny because of how lucky the characters were that they were in the position that they were when they were in it. And then two, just so they could do like to do just like, it's all just a build up for one big joke when they reveal like a giant robot. and that always, like, every time I saw it in theater, it always got like a great reaction from everyone.
Two giant robots.
Yes.
Made two.
Made by God of Foresight.
Yeah. That was the.
Did we ever look up what cray meant? Because like, little do we know that meant something.
Crayon.
Wait.
I don't know.
Crayon.
Colin was like looking up the name meanings.
Because the name Deus Prometh, I was like, fuck off! Someone named their kid God.
Obviously, he was a fucking god.
Apparently,
maybe he just changed his name. You don't know.
Maybe that's true.
Michael, I expect you to name your son
Deus Prometh.
Just name them Deus Murgia. Whoa, that actually sounds kind of badass.
Maybe that'll be his middle name.
Well, it's the same ring as Jesus Murgia.
True.
That's true.
Deus Murgia.
Deus Murgia.
That would have to be like the third child.
That's the third child, the one I don't actually care about.
We already have two other names, so we got to keep those two names.
Oh, what are the two names you got picked out?
Well, we have Lucas Ray and Luna Rose.
Whoa!
Oh shit! I like the Luna Rose.
I love the Luna Rose.
You stole my. Actually, no. I'm stealing the Luna name.
That-
Fucking asshole.
That's like a Final Fantasy name.
I'm going with
Luna Rose.
my girl name is Iris. Iris Steele.
Oh,
Fucking pretty badass.
okay.
I was thinking
Middle name?
something like.
fucking asshole.
I was thinking about the other day actually, because I was trying to think like what's a good like female name to like that would like go with like Lundeen, and then I was thinking like what about like Lana Lundeen.
You have to do like a whole name of alliteration.
Yeah.
Like Lana Luna Lundeen.
Lana Luna. I don't know.
Triple L.
Or maybe it could be like named after or like.
See, I can't do that because it just sounds.
Lana Lane.
Yes,
No, that would be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh man, Susan Steele.
Yeah.
BSS. Yeah, that would be pretty
exactly,
terrible.
yeah, pretty
She would
bad.
be bullied
Yeah,
during
of
history
course,
class.
yeah.
Well, no, that's why you give her two middle names, and then it's SSSS, and then
Tricky.
And then she's the anime instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and then and then I wouldn't. I'm not going to say a lot of kids. Only like.
Oh wait, fuck! I need her name to be Patricia Pontrelli. Sorry.
We keep forgetting the joke that he's Frank.
Oh. PP?
Yes, PP. Oh god, Frank's children are gonna get bullied. No,
Only if he names them with a P.
it's true.
So to closing statements.
Back to Promare.
To me, for the reasons that I've explained, I think digging deeper beneath the surface, for me, Promare is like queer subtext masterwork. But to the world at large, I think it can still be enjoyed in a similar vein to kind of appreciate like, oh man, they really do love their triangles. So just looking at the symbolism, like the shapes when they appear, around what characters they appear, and the circumstances, you can tell a lot about the story it's trying to tell, and it strengthens that narrative of being kind of like an anti, oppression, rebellion type thing, and it's refreshing because typically when it comes to this, to narratives about acceptance or fighting that oppression, it's there's this temptation to have the message be some kind of like assimilation type thing, like a lesser story would try to say, the triangles can be squares too, but no, it's not about becoming squares. It's about
Being proud that you're a triangle.
Yeah, it's about, or even better yet, it's about destroying the concept of the squares and just kind of and being free to be circles.
Well, if you cut a square in half, you get two triangles.
That's true.
And
It'd be long triangles, but
if you cut a square in four, you get 4 triangles.
That'll be fucking the actual what is it? Equilateral? No, not equilateral. What is it called?
circle?
What?
I don't know.
Dude,
No,
geometry, I got
even on
C
all
in
sides. I can't remember what the
geometry.
fuck that's called. Is it equilateral triangle?
I think so. Yeah.
Every side is the same, which is what all the triangles in Promare were, equilateral.
Pretty much, yeah.
So if you cut a square into 4s, you get 4 equilateral triangles.
I'm gonna make a joke later off the show, but
Is it just not appropriate for on
it's not
shows?
appropriate.
Support
It's
us
a little
on
too far.
support our Patreon that we don't have. And you can get special access to all the inappropriate jokes that Colin
All of the
make
politically incorrect
Yeah,
jokes that I'm
right.
sure have gone on afterwards.
But ultimately, I think Promare is a kind of fun film that you probably
Kind of fun?
is a kind of.
Oh, excuse me.
It,
I was gonna say, whoa, that was like all of a sudden praise just got like shot down.
it is an incredibly fun film that you will not likely be forgetting anytime soon.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's a good movie.
Does anyone else want to? Do we want to give ratings or? I forget. Do we want to do ratings on Culture Corner?
Oh, I don't remember.
But fuck it, why
honestly.
not?
I have no idea if we did ratings last time.
Solid 9 out of 10.
Cool.
Give it an 8.
Okay. So we're doing numbers.
Yeah.
I feel like we switch between numbers.
If you want me to do something other than numbers, I'll give it a triangle out of square. But
Would that be is it equilateral or not?
no, Wait.
So that means you give
Shit.
it a 50%.
I give it.
If it's equilateral, you give it a 25%, and if it's not equilateral, you're giving it a 50%.
I give
so
it
either way,
three,
you like hate it.
I give it
3 equilateral
three
triangles.
equilateral
That'd be a C.
triangles. I know.
That'd be
That's the closest I can get.
75%.
Oh, I'm a square. So 9 out of 10, that checks out math-wise.
3 out of 4.
Yeah.
So if you times that by something,
Dude, I
you eventually get
fuck.
something.
I'd give it a 9.
Oh,
Oh boy.
all right.
Okay, so I just we should now we have to address it because we talked about it before. All right, so they were talking about how like we don't know how old the characters are.
So fucking Gallo, right? He looks or kind of acts kind of like he's like late 20s, early 30s, I'd say. Approximately.
I mean, considering how many years would have passed since Cray like saved him, and then like he was a little kid. I'm guessing that Gallo is like maybe around like 22.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that.
22.
Well, how young do you think Gallo was when he was saved from the fire?
Oh, probably maybe like 8, maybe, or like maybe 10. I don't know.
So
Somewhere around there.
You think in like 14 years, Cray went from nothing to the governor of a giant ass city?
Yeah, that makes sense. 14 years, you could do
Is
it.
a long
You
time.
think so?
If you're a politician, if you're an active yeah, because Cray was in college. He could have been doing it for like
Yeah.
political science kind of
And
shit.
he's white, so that's
Yeah.
like an instant like. So-
Yeah, I guess that's true. See, but if he's
Because think
But if
about
he was
it.
in college-
You graduate college when you're like 21, 22. 14 years, you're pretty old. You could just have a political career at that
you're
point.
pretty old, you're like fucking like 36.
No, yes, but
yeah, and he was in college, so yeah.
Okay, fine. All
Cray
right. So
was
if
in
he's
college.
22, Leo looks like he's fucking like 16. Okay. So
Here's the thing. So the thing is, here's the thing that confuses everybody, even online, because the line in the dub, and I don't know if it was different. I don't think it was different in the sub too much, but the line in the dub was that the government's been chasing the leader of Mad Burnish for 30 years.
right.
And then, so I don't know if that. So here's it means one of two things. Either A, I don't know why I just said one. Either one, there was a regime change within the last couple of years.
Which I believe there was, because when I looked it up online about trying to get his age, it looked like there was a lot of people saying, I don't know if it was confirmed or what, but everybody was saying that like he wasn't the leader the whole time.
Well, also, we didn't watch them, but there were 2 short films, like two little short prequels that were like one for Gallo and one for Leo. So we should probably watch those at some point the next time we hang out.
Oh, that'll probably tell us what their age is.
That'll probably maybe, but here I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say they're both of legal age. All right.
See, but the fact that he says you're just a kid, that got me.
But people say that people could say that about like fucking Peter Parker in Spider-Man 2 is like in college, and then people are just like, he's just a kid. He's barely older than
that's
my
a
son.
fair point.
That's a
good point.
People can say kid. and
Although
they
you
just
don't
like
call
say-
someone around your own age a kid.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, but that
you know?
guy wasn't around his own age. He was like
He was
like,
old as shit. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
He was old, and he called a college student a kid. So that would mean that Gallo would have to be old and called
Okay, so
Leo
maybe
a kid.
so maybe he was 12, 14 years past. Maybe he's like 37 or something like that.
Gallo?
No, 27 or something like that. And then maybe Leo is like
18.
Okay, to be fair, we have friends who were like 21 and then dating people who were like a large age gap.
I mean, yeah, that's
That's
fine.
true,
That's fine.
yeah.
So it could
that.
just be that.
But I'm talking about if it's like of non-legal age.
I know, but I'm just saying that I don't think that's what this is.
I don't know.
Especially if it's set in Greece. I don't think that I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't know, man. I need proof.
Or
I need proof
they
before this is settled.
established that Burnish have like regenerative abilities.
I don't think that counts as age, though.
But maybe it does. Maybe he really is just 30 years. Maybe he's actually like
Matt,
really
that's
old.
the argument that a girl who looks like she's 12 is
But
2,000 years
he
old.
looks like he's like in his 20s. Leo Fotia looks like he's in his 20s.
I don't think
I'd
so.
say he looks max
How do
like
you know?
16.
How could
Yeah,
you
right.
tell?
He looks like 16, 17.
Jotaro Kujo from JoJo Part 3 is 16.
Are
He looks
are
like
we
he's
going
30.
off of the representations in JoJo? Because that's a very different age
That's
scale.
the point. The art style changes dramatically. what's her name?
That's true. The fucking Lucia.
Lucia's like, she could be like 30 by trigger logic.
Who's Lucia?
Or
the girl with the twin tails.
That
and
was
pet,
all sciencey and pink hair and had Speedy Gonzalez.
Oh, the one that looked like she was like 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, fucking by like trigger animation, like character designs, like the designs by like, what were they? Who was the? I know I.
By the way, Speedy Gonzalez, I thought he was stupid. I feel like he was only there.
He was kind of not necessary.
I feel like he was there only so they can eventually sell like plushies of him or something.
Remy. Yeah, Remy was the name of the.
I thought it was Vinny.
Vinny. Yeah, Remy was the name of the glasses guy. Yeah. Which I thought it would have been way funnier if they named
the rat.
If they named him Remy. Yeah.
He totally. I feel like he's just there just so they could be like, look, there's a plushie of a rat eating a hot dog.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, also I think because like Gurren Lagann had. There was like, I don't know, like Pet Mole or something like that. Kill la Kill.
Is this Kim Possible?
I think Kill la Kill. I don't think Kill la Kill had like a little like animal sidekick.
It had scissor weapon thing.
It had the scissor weapon thing. I mean, if you want to count her like her friend from school, Mako, who was like the really excitable like sidekick.
I don't count that. I don't count people.
I don't count people.
I don't count people as the animal.
I count like the Porgs from fucking Last Jedi. They were only there just so Disney could sell merchandise.
Fair. Well, no, they were actually there because they couldn't edit out the puffins.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently.
The fuck's a puffin?
That's a little small penguin-looking thing.
Oh, that's kind of cute.
Yeah. So they literally couldn't get the puffins to leave, so they had to put them in somehow.
That's kind of funny though.
Yeah.
Actually, now I'm less angry about that. Now I love porgs.
No, you don't.
I'll show you a picture of a puffin later.
Okay, I want to know now.
All right. So
Every
anyway,
time I think of puffin, I just think of a puffin from fucking Pokemon. So I'm thinking of like these Pokemon eating these like penguin things now.
So anyway, point is, stop trying to ruin my ship.
I'm not trying to ruin it. I'm just saying. After watching, I was like, is he a fucking like? He looks like he's a teenager. He looks like he's like.
Yeah, by that logic, Gallo kind of looks like a teenager.
He does.
Yeah, he kind of does, but like he looks like more of like an of age. Like he looks like 19, where like Leo looks more like 16.
I don't know. Leo looks pretty like sophisticated and like.
I've seen some sophisticated middle schoolers. Wait, let me see puffins again.
You're looking at middle schoolers a lot, Michael.
Shut up, Matt. No. Oh. They're not as cute as I thought they were. Porgs are better.
All I'm saying is stop trying to break my ship.
All right, I'll stop.
All right.
After I learn what their age actually is supposed to be. If you're gonna Google it, I've already Googled it. I got nothing.
I'm amazed it's not somewhere.
Yeah, me too. It's probably because they didn't think people would be this like up in arms about it.
Yeah. I bet you they didn't.
Well, the funny thing is, it was not the funny thing, but when I showed my parents Your Name, great movie.
It is a great movie. Oh, they watched it, really?
Yeah, I watched it with them.
Did they like it?
They did like it.
It was good.
The only bad part about Your Name is if you're not familiar with Japanese anime humor, the first part can turn you off because it's like, why am I seeing this maybe teenage girl half naked at the first part?
Oh, yeah. I
could see my mom was like, wait a minute.
She's like, what the fuck's going on here?
So,
Colin, what are you watching?
Yeah, exactly, basically.
Yeah, that's true. I get that. Well, that's the thing about like just anime in general. That's like I feel like people get turned off because they're like there's like somewhat weirdish nudity of like teenagers. What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
it's like I get it, but like if you look past that, the rest of it is fine.
If you get past the first like minute, I swear
it's more normal. Yeah, that's kind of my issue with like.
Although they do offset with her little sister being like, why are you touching your boobs? Get ready for school or something or whatever. Yeah.
See, that's like the same thing with like Sword Art Online, where I'm like, like I would want to show this to somebody, but then I think of all like the weird scenes that are just like hypersexualized for like no reason. And I'm like, great. No, I don't want to show. Yeah. Like even like Bella's like, I was kind of interested like in watching that, and then I thought about those and like, I don't know if I want to show.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
But Death Note, we're still watching that, kind of.
I've never seen Death Note, but
you fucking ass. You totally should actually. I mean, I'm not that far into it, but it's pretty good so far. Yeah. It's like a cat and mouse game of detectivism.
Detectivism. Detective hunting
Culture
serial
Corner,
killer.
Death Note, the movie.
No.
No, we say remember next Culture Corner is the Assassin's Creed the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Unless Frank comes back, then we could do the Dark Knight
Dark
like
Knight
right
Returns,
now.
yeah.
Dark Knight
That's
Returns
right.
like originally.
You
This
mean
is
I'm
no
already here,
ordinary
Michael?
Monday. Oh yeah, excuse me.
God.
Yeah, obviously we're not going to watch Colin's
This is the
stupid
worst-
idea of
this
the
is the worst
Assassin's
joke
Creed.
I've ever done.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah, it's not even well executed because we
It's
keep
good.
forgetting.
No.
It's good. It's a good
terrible.
joke.
Maybe that's how. See, that's why it's a great joke, is because it's so poorly executed
Yeah.
that it's funny.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh shit! All right, you guys have anything else to add about Promare, Colin?
Not really. It's
And
a
about
good movie.
young boys hooking up?
I'm so angry at you.
Again, we really can't fault
I'm
it.
joking,
There's a
I'm
lot of anime. Oh fuck. There's a lot of anime with by American standards questionable.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm totally joking, man. I will say I actually legit want to know their ages. So like now it's just like I've already like gone like this far into it. I just actually want to know, but like I don't really care that much.
All right.
It's a great movie overall.
That's good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Matt, you know us. Even if we like a movie, we pick the shit out of it.
Yeah, honestly,
so-
yeah, I make fun of it.
That's true.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with like the prequels. Like I honestly like kind of enjoy. Okay, not all the prequels, but like Revenge of the Sith. Oh Jesus, Revenge of the Sith. Like probably one of my favorite.
I could tell you were salivating so much.
Revenge
You
of the
spit
Sith.
everywhere.
Revenge of the Sith is probably like one of my favorite Star Wars movies, and I fucking make fun of it all the time. So just take everything we say with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Unless we say like for sure like we just hate it, then you could actually be upset about it.
Yeah.
So follow us on Instagram. We don't post a lot.
We don't, because I've been really dropping the ball.
Yeah, come on,
lately.
Frank.
Oh,
It's all right. I'll try to.
We actually got to the joke real quickly. We caught
Yeah.
ourselves.
I'll try to pick up. the slack,
I'm also
Frank.
willing
It's
to
okay.
do it. I just have to fucking learn Instagram.
You were already supposed to be doing it,
Oh
Frank. Come
God,
on.
fuck! I suffered I suffered a car crash, so I don't remember a lot about my life.
A car collision.
Car collision.
Oh my God! Wow, bringing it full circle.
That wasn't that
Fucking-
called
bad. Now that you
Oh.
called it, the memories flood
Yeah, now you
back
say
now.
collision. You know, like it really wasn't bad.
Wasn't
I think we
that
were going
bad.
like 5 miles per hour.
You know.
Probably just like a slight
Captain
tap.
Marvel. We're all right.
I won't go that far.
Batman, we're Superman or superhumans. Whatever, Frank. Me. Okay, I'm gonna end the episode here.
Hold on. All right, yeah. Follow us on Instagram. We occasionally post. I'd post more, but I'm already the editor, and so I feel like. Come on.
Yeah, that's
Look
fair.
forward to the Twitter that'll probably come up eventually.
It'll come up. I'll put links in the description. Thanks for listening and watching every Wednesday when we upload video versions at 7 p.m. Central Time, and the podcast is uploaded 10 a.m. Central Time on Mondays.
Yeah.
Just in case you weren't already listening to it on a Monday.
Good night, America. and England.
Yeah, and
don't we have
England.
people
Norway,
in like
I think.
Norway?
Do we?
I don't know.
I didn't see Norway on
No,
there,
I
but
might have just been thinking
Can't
of
wait
the
until
old
we get the
podcast.
Russians.
When Putin listens to this.
oh, Putin's not gonna like this.
Yeah, right now they said that he's like to the gulag.